Other Operation Band declares war on bandits. That's on page 3. Tinubu has made sacrifices of our soldiers and citizens seem futile. That's from article on page 2. CBN moves to separate banks from affiliates, restricts use of customer funds on page 17. Manufacturing, telecoms drive Nigerians 2.42 trillion naira VAT collection in Q1 2026. That's on page 17. And 2027, Ogun APC picks Kubirat Adegunwan Balogun as deputy governorship candidate on page 2. We also have Tinubu actualizing Southeast Road projects conceived in the colonial era, says Umahi, page 14. Military airstrikes kill 27 terrorists in Borno hideouts, page 4. And Ondo Amotekun nabs 97 suspected kidnappers, robbers, anti-grazing violators on page 4. That's the front page of the Standard Times, and we are currently streaming the newspaper review on YouTube. All you need to do is search for Repa Abuja on YouTube. Now to the New Telegraph. We have Black Sunday. Nigeria bleeding. Church can't remain silent, Khan declares. Anglican bishop tells politicians to stop the blame game. Address challenges confronting Nigeria. 11 burial guests feared dead in Benue boat accident. Bandits kill 3, burn houses in Niger. That's coming from the police. And Yelwata killings. Moro full of reproach for FG as residents mark 1 year of attack. And that's a lengthy read covered on pages 3, 4, 28 and 29 of the New Telegraph. My father wasn't diabetic. That's coming from General Rabe's son. DHQ mourns general, pledges justice as military delegation visits Katsina. Rabe's death, failure of security architecture. That's from article pages 2, 4, and 5. State police, an idea whose time has come. Hope rises for decentralized policing, a major bid to address growing insecurity. Pages 9 to 11 covers that one. SA deploys drones, BWC to stop 586 Nigerians, others from sneaking in. Clears 318 Nigerians to return home today. That is on page 2. 2027, Atiku's ADC ticket sparks fears of Southern vote split, realignment, page 4. Fasting may offer new hope for gum disease treatments. That's a study on page 27. Insecurity, ministers, governors may become targets, Buratai warns. That is on page 3. We also have curbing unnecessary pre-trial detention, how stringent bail conditions breach accused rights. That's coming from lawyers on pages 14 and 16. Lagos to impound vehicles with obscured number plates from today, page 6. Trump warns Israel, Iran not to blow it after new strikes threaten ceasefire deal. 12 killed in U.S. plane crash, pages 2 and 4. We also have IATA, 18,000 aircraft supply backlog holding back global aviation business. Starts on the front page and continues on page 3 of the New Telegraph. Now we'll be looking at the leadership newspaper. Ignore IMF's advice on fuel, telecom taxes, economists tell FG, page 4. 2025-2026 budgets. Reps hold emergency meeting today, page 4. Zamfara police destroyed IEDs on major highway, page 33. And that is a scary one, to have IEDs on major highway. Article faults president on security, mourns General Rabe, page 6. Pregnant woman, 6 children, 4 other burial guests die in Benue boat accident, page 6. No one gave me $500 million after Abacha's death. That's from Abdul Salami. Starts on the front page and continues on page 8. We also have cholera outbreak. Plateau records 5 deaths, 11 confirmed cases on page 6. Stakeholders reject labels. Pay rise demand, seek action on inflation insecurity, page 21. And our final paper for the day is the gwg.ng. We have Kenneth Okonkwo in Real Life Political Thriller, Living in Bondage, Part 3. Starts on the front page and continues on page 3. We also have Ikechukwu Damilola nears Guinness World Barbing Record. Starts on the front page and continues on page 8. So it was drama, endurance, and raw youthful ambition on display in Lagos on Sunday as 24-year-old hairstylist Ikechukwu Damilola, popularly known as Transformation King, crossed the 90-hour mark in his daring 120-hour Guinness World Record hairdressing marathon. So there's a report that the marathon, which began on June 10, is taking place at the Oto Awori Local Council Development Area and is being monitored by officials of the Guinness World Records. So he has just 30 hours left to complete the challenge by today. Damilola remained focused, drawing cheers from fans, beauty enthusiasts, and supporters who have continued to storm the venue to witness this spectacle. Well, if there's somebody listening in Lagos right now or heading to Lagos today via air, probably you could meet up and get a free haircut from Damilola. Sometimes when I hear of these world records people try to break, I will think there's something like this that people can actually, break. About standing for over 90 hours, doing that for 90 hours, that's actually huge. In another story here, we have Muftwang showcases Plateau's recovery agenda at Town Hall. Starts on the front page and continues on page 3. DHQ, why we kept quiet after General Rabe's abduction, starts on the front page and continues on page 3. Go on a very short break right now and return with the business side of things. Just stay with us. It's still Ray Power 100.5 FM, the Ultimate Morning Show.
This is the Newspaper Review.
All right, welcome back. Taking a look at the business NG, we have VAT hike and new telecom taxes don't overburden citizens. Nigeria reacts to IMF fiscal advice. Starts on the front page and continues on page 2. We also have 700 billion naira FAC every month. States under pressure as infrastructure deficits persist. Starts on the front page, continues on page 2. $5 billion UAE loan sparks fresh concerns over Nigeria's debt burden. Starts on the front page, continues on page 2. 80% of Nigerians say country is headed in wrong direction. That's an SBM survey on page 2. And Kano Airline proposal sparks debate on aviation gap and northern Nigeria's growth potential. Page 2. And we also have, lastly here, banks, fintech set for separation as CBN introduces new risk containment rules. That's on page 2. And that's it for the front pages this morning. We took a look at This Nigeria, the Authority newspaper, Nigerian News Direct, Daily Global, Daily Independent, the Daily Monitor, the Standard Times, the New Telegraph, the Leadership, Observers Times, and the GWG.ng. And starting off with the major story that's on all the front pages is the death of General Rabe, and it's a very sad one, And yes, I agree with the papers. And for those who say that it shows, the kind of state we are in when it comes to insecurity in this country. Retired general, being in such a situation, a general being in such a situation, and what then is the hope for the average Nigerian, most times, especially for those whose stories do not even get to trend on social media, those who are kidnapped, affected by these gruesome attacks and all of that do not get on social media, It's just a very sad one indeed. His wife, according to reports, is still in the hands of the kidnappers, the abductors. A very sad situation indeed. And we actually do need a change when it comes to security in this country. The security architecture as well is very, very important. The way we approach it, I think it's high time we stop going with the mindset of, Nigerians need to pray about insecurity. Nigerians need to, yes, prayer is great. Prayer is good, but it's not going to solve the entire thing. It's not going to make these people just put down their arms. It's not going to make these people, get squashed by the Nigerian security architecture. So we need a whole lot of revamp. It's not just telling Nigerians, go to pray. We don't hear this when other countries are tackling security issues. You don't hear countries like the US telling their nationals that they have to pray because of, insecurity. They do the work. The military is there protecting them. They invest so much. They fund, the security operatives as well. So it's very important to take a look at how we approach them, the kind of mindset we see them as. You want to call them terrorists, let's call them terrorists once and for all, and not one person saying, oh, it's my brother. The Minister of Defense is saying this one and that one, with him also being under, pressure, on the fire from Nigerians. When you hear from the Minister of Defense talking about how, we should pray, they are this and this. I think it's high time we need very strict measures to tackle insecurity once and for all. We still have Oyo school children and their teachers in captivity. This is a month or close to a month as well. So it's just a very sad one indeed. On the papers as well, the president talking about how the window for surrender is not going to last open. Shut that window and go head on against them. It's just a very tough one to take when it comes to insecurity. Seeing people, keep losing their lives on a daily basis to this issue. And we have warnings from Buratai saying that governors, senators may be next targets. That's a very interesting one. Well, I know that the governors and the senators are one people who, get a whole lot of protection whenever they're heading out. Not long ago, we saw videos of, I think the Minister Matawale and his family when they were moving, in a convoy with so much, security. We saw, we've seen a whole lot of them with the whole security that they put around themselves and all of that because, they know what's happening. So why do we still have a situation where we are still negotiating with them? We're still paying, to them from the states and all of that. So it's a very tough one indeed to take when it comes to insecurity and seeing what Nigerians are going through at the moment. Well, may his soul rest in peace. And for those as well, because there was a lot of sad stories on the front pages this morning, a lot of people dying as well, losing their lives, the boat mishap as well. Very sad one, I must say. May their souls rest in peace as well this Monday morning. Well, moving away from insecurity matters, the IMF's should I say advice or directive to the federal government on imposing fuel telecom taxes to boost revenue. I don't know why we're having such a time when Nigerians are actually experiencing a whole lot when it comes to taxes first and foremost, and then the prices, the cost of these commodities. People are buying gas for 2.5 a kg already. Petrol is over 1,000, for even when it comes to telecom, a lot of people, we're complaining that we're not getting the right value for the money we keep spending on data, calls, SMS, and all of that. Even the quality as well is varying. Sometimes the Wi-Fi I have at home just shuts off when you're using it to work during the day. So we're not even getting the needed quality, and you're advising the federal government to add more taxes in that area. Who does that benefit? How do you expect Nigerians to pay that? Because the taxes will fall back on us, because those prices, they definitely go up. The service providers and all of that will definitely increase their fees. So it's you and I who's going to pay the added costs incurred via the taxes. So I think it's just something they need to shelve at the moment, probably not just think about it. Nigerians are not having it easy at the moment. Well, it's also still a period of politicking. Article to unveil Amaechi as running mate this week, 2027. That's a story from the Authority newspaper. They've gone through a lot of, comments on who was going to be or who is going to be the vice presidential candidate to Atiku Abubakar. At some point, Okonjo Iweala's name, sprung up, and I was like, how? I don't think she's going to be leaving, where she is right now. She's doing so much, when it comes to the world. Look, so many names, just thrown into the hat and all of that. But I guess Rotimi Amaechi is the best stop for Atiku Abubakar and his train to see if he can get into Aso Rock when 2027 comes through. Will he divide, all of the votes as the permutations are being, made? We'll see how all of this will unfold. How Nigerians will receive that ticket pairing going for the 2027 elections. Well, this morning, You can pick up a copy of any of the dailies. Most of the stories are resurfacing on the front pages this morning. They're all trending as well. All right, so let's just quickly take a look at a bit of sports. We all know the big one that's on right now, which is the World Cup. Yes, very interesting matches so far. Let's look at results from over the weekend. Starting off on Saturday, the USA beat Paraguay 4-1. Qatar and Switzerland played out a 1-1 draw. Brazil and Morocco played out a 1-1 draw. And for Qatar, Mohaim, who scored they got the goal, and according to reports, they're going to be getting $3 million for that goal and the Rolls Royce. I don't know if that's going to be true, though, but well, it looks like Qatar, they're really happy about that one. Also, yesterday, Scotland beat Haiti by 1-0, their first goal in ages at the World Cup and the first win for them. So congratulations to them. Australia beat Turkey 2-0. Germany smashed Curacao 7-1. For Curacao, it's the first appearance at the World Cup, so it means a whole lot to them. For them to have even equalized in that game and pushed, Germany the way they did in the first half. Shout out to them. The Netherlands and Japan played out a 2-2 draw. Very interesting match there. Goals from Virgil van Dijk and Somerville for the Netherlands, and Nakamura and Kamada for Japan. And I must say that their coach is really innovative with his tactics as well. We'll be discussing all of that on our sister stations, World Cup program as well. All right, so Ivory Coast beat Ecuador by 1-0. Sweden, early hours of today as well, beat Tunisia 5-1. All right, so for Ivory Coast, Amad Diallo, my United player. I just had to mention that one. Good one. So there'll be matches later on today from 5 p.m. Spain will be playing Cape Verde. We have Belgium against Egypt. That's a big one. And Saudi Arabia against Uruguay to wrap things up at 11 p.m. So a whole lot of matches to anticipate later on today. That's it for the World Cup and sports this morning and the papers. The name is Trix. Thank you so much for listening. 8:30 Fact File on this dial. 9 o'clock Political Platform on YouTube. Do stay with us. Don't go anywhere.